What do your favorite game and the milk in your fridge have in common? They both have expiration dates that you have zero control over. Except milk costs a few dollars, and last week your game cost $60 and can die whenever a corporation decides it's not profitable enough. Imagine spending hundreds of hours in your favorite game, investing real money in content, building memories with friends, and tomorrow the developers simply flip a switch and it's gone forever. Your money, your time, your memories vanished. Sounds like a nightmare? Welcome to modern gaming. I've lost count of how many games I can never play again. Not because I don't want to. Not because they're broken, but because some executive in a boardroom decided they weren't worth keeping alive. If you ever tried to boot up an old favorite game only to be met with servers unavailable, this video is for you. The topic and essence of the petition itself has of course already been widely covered on the internet, but I would like to share one very interesting example of how a passionate audience can literally bring a game back from the dead. From my experience, I immediately recall Assassin's Creed and its famous Uplay feature, which requires you to log in every 30 minutes during gameplay. While exploring the city and performing parkour across buildings, a pop-up notification would appear, informing you that you had unlocked an achievement or prompting you to log in and collect a reward. Of course, it was all cool until you tried to click on the notification, at which point the problem began. Firstly, Uplay ceased to exist a long time ago and does not work, so you're left watching an endless loading screen and an error message saying that you cannot connect to the server and to try connect later, but that later will never come. The developers gave up on it a long time ago, yet they didn't even remove this pop-up message from the game. To put it bluntly, they're simple lazy. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's not even the worst example. Even worse, it won't be profitable for the studio to maintain the game servers, so they will just shut down your game. They will claim that they designed it in such a way that you can't play it without connection to the servers. Now that's what I call treating players right. You can tell right away that they made it with love, as they all like to say. If they loved us, they wouldn't take the game away from the players. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about games that just disappear. At the developer's whim, games disappear into oblivion. Then you ask me why on earth I paid money for the game only for the developers to take it away without asking me. I will answer. It turns out you didn't actually own the game all this time, you just had access to it. That's the whole story. Read the fine print more carefully next time. And here the question arises. So was it possible all this time? Of course it was. But do you even consider the possibility that your favorite game will disappear from your Steam list in 10 years' time? No one will ask if you want to keep playing it or reminisce about the past. And this is where the well-known torrent on a white horse should come in. After all, if you weigh up all the moral aspects of the problem, downloading a game isn't such a sin. As the famous meme says, if buying is not the ownership of a product, then piracy is not a stealing. Personally, I side with the hero on the white horse. For me, studios claiming they can't afford to rewrite the game so that it works without a constant internet connection is a blatant lie. If that were true, why are there hacked games on torrent that people can play without any problems? How can a group of people, or sometimes even one person, hack a game and play it without any problems? It turns out that these are just excuses for personal gain by the developers, because you can't play their game for free. But at the same time, they don't want to maintain the servers, because it's not financially profitable for them. They act this way so that their budget is not spent on maintaining a financially unprofitable, half-empty server. At the same time, they don't need to give the game away for free. Later, the servers are overloaded with a flood of new or old players, and the developers have to pay for the support of the old game out of their own pocket. This is unprofitable. This is how games die. However, this is only a conditional death. Their life continues on the pages of torrents. Here I would like to continue this video with a very cool example from the guys who resurrected a game that everyone had already written off in 2024. The Crew. I remember there being a lot of news about it at the time. Many people were outraged and upset at the prospect of no longer being able to drive on their favorite tracks or ride in their favorite cars. The only solution they could come up with, however, was to refund only those players who had purchased the game shortly before its closure was announced. Later, they offered a 98% discount on The Crew 2 on Steam, saying don't be upset, go and play the second game. Then, with a straight face, they said that they were working hard on some offline modes and that players would not need to connect to the servers. This attitude caused not only a storm of indignation, but also a huge number of lawsuits against Ubisoft, with players trying to either keep the game or provide access to it for everyone. However, the court ruled in favor of the studio, because the game is not a physical product, it's a digital service. They just give you the right to use the game. You're essentially renting access to it from them, so there's no ownership. However, the players weren't going to give up so easily. On 15 September 2025, the patch for The Crew was released, The Crew Ultimate. How does it work? I will explain. TCU is a server emulator which enables you to play The Crew in single-player mode. First, download the TCU launcher to your PC, then launch it and specify the path to your downloaded game. Finally, click the patch button and that's it. It took a small team of enthusiasts just 1.5 years to develop this mode for the game. The multiplayer and co-op features are currently unavailable, but the developers are planning to restore them in future patches. Who said rewriting the game for the offline use was so difficult? Go ahead and buy from Ubisoft and other developers, who will regale you with tales of their love for the audience. When TCU was released, 30,000 players were eagerly awaiting its release on the Discord server for this mod. Everything works great for them. Of course, there were a few cases in the chat where the gamepad wasn't recognized and some people couldn't get it to work the first time. But damn it, it works. There were even a crowd of enthusiasts streaming live from their screens and sharing their excitement about the event. Happy people, I tell you. If you're interested in the topic, I will share a link in the description to their Discord server, so you can explore it in more detail. But let's look at it from a different perspective. How does Ubisoft feel about this news? They developed and sold the game, and then successfully closed it. But then some enthusiasts took it and distributed the mode for TCU to everyone, and now we're enjoying the game. Of course, it doesn't feel right for them. I don't know how they will react, but given how terrible Ubisoft is as a company, I doubt it will be positively. I'm worried that Ubisoft might sue the people responsible, and I'm afraid they might win. After all, they own the rights, and despite all the mess and the huge financial problems they're facing, I think the company has enough resources to fight for them. They have a good chance of winning substantial compensation. I would like to believe the best will happen, but we will have to wait and see. I hope this heaven for gamers will not be taken away. Having looked into this a little more, I found out that the team working on TCU are planning to release updates, since the launcher is only version 1.0. I assume they will also address the issues that have already affected a small number of players. I have always believed in the power of the gaming community, and news like this only inspires me further. All is not lost yet. On the subject of Stop Killing Games, I recently read that the 97% of the 1.45 million signatures on the petition were deemed valid, meaning that the European Commission will consider the proposal. I would very much like games to continue to exist without the patches I mentioned earlier, and I really want to believe in all the good things. Then, 15 years after the game's release, you could just sit down and play it for an hour or two for your own enjoyment, without worrying that it's the lost media and now only lives in your memory. Just sitting down and enjoying it would be a victory in itself. What are your thoughts on this news? How do you think Ubisoft will react? And what outcome do you think the Stop Killing Games petition will have? Let me know in the comments, I love reading them. Thanks you for watching. May all your favorite games live forever.